In this course we will make this color switch game. Okay, full game. As you can see, we can change color and we can pass through our correct color, and if we collide with another color, let me show you how. Okay, we can pass through the similar color. Okay, if we collide with any other color, as you can see, the game getting over. Okay, as you can see, when we collide with any other color, the game gets over. But when we just collide with the color the player has, it's not happening anything like that. We can play the level. Okay, so in this course we will make this full game. You should have a little bit knowledge of Unity game engine and C# coding. If you do not have, okay, if you do not have, you can go and check out my beginners tutorial on Unity game engine and C# coding. As well, along making this game, I will explain every single thing. Okay, not from scratch, but I will give you an idea. And if you wanna buy my 2D platformer course, like if you are totally new to a Unity game engine and C# coding, then you also can check out my Udemy course. I will have link in the description of 2D platformer course. Okay, Udemy course. And so without furthering delay, let's dive into today's tutorial. We will make color switch replica. Okay, this will be full tutorial, so let's dive into this. I have opened up an empty project of Unity, as you can see. So let's go to hierarchy and then main camera. Let's choose click on background. Let's choose a different color for it. Okay, something like this I'm gonna choose. Okay, uh, it's fine. Okay, so let's create the play ball game object or player, you can say. So let's go to hierarchy one more time. Right click, then go to 2D object sprite and select this circle. Okay, and go to transform, right click and reset the transform. As you can see, now it's centered. So let's call this circle instead of circle, let's call it something like player or ball. So I will call it something like player. Okay, player. And what we will do, we will add two components. One will be rigid body, which will add up the gravity, okay, to this game object. And second component, we will add a circle collider 2D for collision detection. Okay, so let's do that. Select the player game object, go to inspector, click on add component. Okay, and find over there rigid body. Firstly, rigid body 2D, and let's go to rigid body and choose collision detection to continuous. Okay, continuous. And then you can scale up the gravity, it's totally up to you. And let's add up one more component for collision detection, circle collider 2D. Okay, select that, add component, find over there circle collider 2D and attach it. Okay, now we have added up two components to this game object. If I now hit this play button in the top, this game object will fall down due to due to gravity. We added up a rigid body 2D, which we know will add up the gravity. Okay, so as you can see, it's get fall down to the fall down. Okay, so what we will do, let's create a script for it. Okay, and something like we will add up a force against that gravity in the y-axis. Okay, if I select this player game object, if to focus on it, and let's select this move tool, and we will add up a force in the y-axis opposite of gravity. Okay, something like when we press down space key on our keyboard, at that moment I will add up a force against gravity, so it will go in the y-axis. Okay, so I'm gonna explain it how it works. So let's go to project tab, then assets, right click, create, and create a C# script. Okay, name it player or balls, it's totally up to you. And select this player game object and select that script and attach it. Okay, drag it to add component section, basically attach that. And let's double click that to open up in Visual Studio. Okay, we can see we have start and update function. Let's remove these two namespaces in the top, we don't need it for now. Okay, instead what we want, so basically we need a reference of this rigid body. Okay, of this player rigid body, then we can add up a force in the y-axis, not the x-axis. When we press down space key, we only want to jump this uh, a ball game object or player game object to the y-axis only, not this x. Okay, so I will put 0 in the x one more time. So let's move it down to 0. Okay, let's go to script one more time. So we need a reference of this rigid body, then we can add up a velocity in the y-axis to this ball game object, so it will go to the up. Okay, so let's do that. So let's go to top of our class, let's grab the reference first. Okay, so let's make a public rigid body, make it public so we can see rigid body, and let's call it this RB, and close that up with semicolon, control S to save your code. Let's move to Unity now. In ball script, we would expect to see an empty field of rigid body. So what we need to drag this rigid body right there. So we will have the reference, then we can add up a force to the y-axis or to this ball, some unit when we press down space key. Okay, something like that. Okay, so if I click on this ball script, as you can see rigid body RB, we name it and it says none, it's empty. So let's select this rigid body and drag it out there. Now as you can see, we have the link up of this rigid body player. Now we can see, add the velocity. Okay, so let's go to script one more time, and for that I will go to top down of my script. Okay, let's create a function for it, for adding up a velocity to the y-axis, to that ball game object. So let's make a function for it. So I will make a public void for function. Okay, void, and you don't need to mark as public, you can mark as private, or you can leave it as like this. Okay, it's also fine, it's automatically get assigned private. Okay, so we will make public void or void for function, and let's call the function something like jump player, or player jump, or something like that. Okay, so let's call it jump underscore player or ball. Let's call it ball instead. Jump underscore ball, make first bracket and some curly brackets. So what we want to do inside this function, basically when we press down on space key, we uh, you can test with any key you want, it's totally up to you. I will check for space key. Okay, so we will call this function, and what we do or want to do inside this function, basically we just wanna add up a velocity to the y-axis to that ball game object, some unit. Okay, not the x-axis. Okay, so let's we have the reference of rigid body, as you can see we drag it, basically we have the link up. Now what we will do, let's create a vector 2. Okay, vector 2 velocity, and we know vector 2 has two axes. Okay, it has x axis and y axis. So we will set this vector 2 velocity equal to rb dot velocity. Okay, so rb rigid body velocity, that rigid body velocity, and we know this vector 2 vel has two axes, x axis and the y axis. So we only want to add up the force in the y axis. Okay, so what we will do in the next, we will modify. So let's modify vel dot y, and we know this vel has x axis and y axis, and we set it up equal to rb dot velocity. Okay, so let's say val dot y equal to 10f some unit, it's totally up to you. So we need to come to this script again and again, so let's make a variable for this as well. So let's go to top of our class and marked as public float, so we can adjust through inspector. Let's call it something like jump height. Okay, jump force or jump height, jump underscore height I will call, and by default I will set it to 10f. Okay, and let's replace this 10f with this jump height, and we know jump height by default we have given and close that up with semicolon, given 10 unit, but we can adjust upon it in the inspector, so that's why I made that field public. Okay, make sure make it public, so we don't need to come to this script over again and again and change this value. Okay, val dot y, and let's set the velocity of the rigid body to this val now. Okay, so we will set rv dot velocity equal to this val. Okay, basically we created a vector to val and we set it rv dot velocity. After modifying the y-axis, we set again the velocity of the rigid body to this val, and we know this val in the y-axis will be 10 unit or this jump height, but we can adjust upon it. Okay, so as you can see, after modifying the y-axis or in y-axis with jump height, we setting again velocity of that rigid body to this val. Okay, after modifying the y-axis in the with 10 unit or that jump height. Okay, so we also need to call this function. Okay, we need to call this function, but when we should, you can check for any thing you want. So I want to call this function when I press down space key on my keyboard. So let's go to update function, and we know update function runs every single frame. So let's do this over here. We will check if in brackets we will pass input dot get key. Okay, get key, and in brackets we have to pass the key code. Okay, so key code dot you can pass a so it will be a key, but I want to check for space key. Okay, so I will do a input dot get key dot key code dot space. Okay, and make some curly brackets. So basically if input dot get key key code dot space, basically if I press down a space key on my keyboard, what I want to do, I want to call this function. Okay, jump ball, and we know what we doing inside this function. Okay, firstly we created a vector to val and we set it equal to rigid body velocity. Okay, and after modifying the y-axis in the y-axis with 10 unit or this jump height parameter. Okay, we set against that rigid body velocity to this val. Okay, so let's call this function. So the ball will be jump in the y-axis with 10 amount of unit. Okay, so let's do this jump ball. Let's call this jump ball and make first bracket, close that off with semicolon. So when we press down, basically when we pressing space key, we calling this function, and we know what we're doing inside that function. Okay, so control S on your keyboard to save your code, and let's move to Unity now, and hit this play button in the top. We will see able to see the this ball game object will go in the y-axis with 10 amount of unit, but we can adjust in the script. Okay, in the ball script, as you can see, jump height by default we have given 10. It's totally up to you. You can make it 5 4 3 2 1. It's totally up to you. Okay, so now if I hit this play button in the top and try to press down space key on my keyboard, okay, keyboard, so we will go in the y-axis this amount of jump height. Okay, so when we press down, as you can see, when I am just pressing space key on my keyboard, we can able to see that this ball game object or player game object going to the y-axis with 10 amount of a jump height every time when we press down space key. Okay, so I hope you get the idea how you can jump your player in the y-axis only. We didn't modify in the x-axis, we leave it as it is. Okay, we just modified the y-axis. As you can see, after modifying the y-axis, we set again that velocity, basically rigid body velocity to this val, and we know this val in the y-axis will be 10. Okay, so I hope you get the idea how you can jump any game object in the direction you want. Okay, I will have all of the sprites in the description. Okay, link of it I'm gonna put in the description, as you can see. Okay, so let's drag them out. We need to create the circle. Okay, circle which will rotate, and our player or the ball have to pass through it to get end of the level or to win, or if it's collide don't collide with some certain color, then we have to end our game. Okay, so let's do that. So I will select this part and let's drag it to hierarchy or scene view. like this. As you can see, let's drag all of the parts of the rotator circle one by one. Let's select all of them. Let's drag it out here. Okay, and let's choose all of them by holding down shift in hierarchy. Go to transform, right click and reset the transform. Okay, let's align it perfectly. I'm gonna drag my player game object a little bit down for now. Okay, for now, and let's assign this. So I'm gonna take my this circle. Okay, cyan color, I guess. I don't know the color, man. I'm really sorry. This is yellow. I'm gonna check over here. Okay, just align it correctly, and something like something like 0.6, I guess. Point 0.59. Okay, so 0.59 seems pretty great, but still it's just a little bit. uh, I'm gonna take my yellow one. Okay, something like 0.858. Okay, 0.589. Okay, so 0.589 seems pretty great, and let's do the same thing. So let's take this bottom one, which the right one. Okay, so let's take that and copy this position of the yellow one. Okay, let's copy this x position, which is 5. Let's copy it. Okay, and paste it. So let's select this circle. Let's put over here 0.589 as. Okay, 589, and let's drag it to the bottom side, something like over here. Just match up. Okay, okay, so seems pretty great. So let's take this take this part. Okay, this one is 2. Let's put it over here. Let's copy this position. So right click and copy position, and let's paste it over to this. Okay, so select the part, right click and paste the value. So we will move to paste. Okay, paste, and let's paste the position, and let's drag it to the bottom side as we did for this one. Okay, I guess it seems rate a little bit. Okay, so as you can see, so it seems pretty great. Okay, so let's create an empty game object. So go to hierarchy, right click, create empty game object. Go over to let's rename this game object to something like small. Okay, small underscore circle, something like that you can call. Go to transform orbit, right click and reset the transform, and let's take all of these parts. Okay, by holding down shift and just place it top of this small circle. Now this all of this part is a child of this game object. Okay, this game object. So if I take this one anywhere, I can we should okay, so we need to make center of it. So I will take all of my parts styles. I'm gonna drag it out for now, and let's right click on the transform. Okay, to this small circle, and let's select all of the parts by holding down shift, and let's move it over to here, something like it. Okay, just move it center of this game mode. So I'm gonna put an icon. So go over to inspector and select an icon for it. So let's choose this yellow one, and let's select all of the circle by holding down shift, and just put it center, I guess. Okay, seems in center, something like that. Okay, and let's now take all of these parts and just place it top of this small circle or to this game object, as you can see. And if I take this game object, I can move anywhere I want. Okay, so let's add up collider to this rotator. Okay, we added collider to our circle, and let's make our this circle, or sorry, this ball game object a little bit narrow. Okay, it seems quite big. Okay, so let's make it shrink it down a little bit. So I will do something like point 8 in the x. Okay, and 0.8 in the y. Basically we going over to transform and scaling. Okay, scaling down. As you can see, let's put it something like 0.75. Okay, 75, and let's do the same thing for 0.75 in the y. Okay, and now it seems pretty great. So let's choose this circle. Okay, select all of the parts by holding down shift and add up collider. Okay, to add up collider, let's add a polygon collider. It will be perfect instead of adding a circle collider. Okay, solid circle collider have width. So if I add, so click on add component and find over there circle collider. As you can see, it seems pretty quite quite weird. Okay, so that's why we will add up a polygon collider or edge collider, but you have to adjust it, and it will take a little longer time. So if you have, so you can go with edge collider instead of polygon collider. Okay, so I will remove, so right click on it and remove component. Instead, let's add up a polygon collider to each of these parts. Okay, so select all of them, click on add component and find over there polygon collider 2D. Okay, so as you can see, the polygon collider is perfect for these parts to add up. Okay, and it seems pretty quite good now. So what we will do, let's choose each trigger to check one. Okay, so the player can pass through, or this will register our player to get into inside of the circle. Okay, so that's why we put basically we set all of the polygon collider is triggered checked one. Okay, so the so this polygon collider not gonna register our player to get inside of it and pass through of this circle. Okay, so we also need to rotate this circle. Okay, if I take my small circle, so we need to rotate this circle. So if I select this small circle, okay, a small circle, and go over to transform and just a rotation play around with z axis, as you can see circle is colliding. Okay, perfectly colliding, and it seems pretty quite weird. Okay, because we have to adjust. So I will take small part, so this is minus point. So in the 0 I will put sorry, so just make sure it's correct. Okay, just make it a little bit, just adjust upon it manually, you're gonna get hang of it. Okay, so I guess it seems pretty quite good now. Okay, and if we go to transform one more time and play around with z axis, as you can see circle is rotating. Okay, and you just make it a little bit perfectly aligned these parts. Okay, so the circle not gonna rotate weirdly. So make sure it you do that. I just mess with these small parts, and it's not quietly aligning themselves. So that's why while rotating this circle seems pretty weird. Okay, so just take time and do this step, align it perfectly. Okay, so I'm gonna put 0 in the x, let's put 0 in the z. Okay, so let's create a script for it to rotate this circle. Okay, so go to assets, right click, create C# script. Okay, C# script, name it to something like circle rotator. It's totally up to you what you want to name it. Okay, and I'm gonna take my this small circle game object, the center one or the parent one. Okay, and select that script and drag it to add component section, or what else you can do, click on add component and find over there typing the name of the script you just recently made up. Okay, you recently made. So I already have created a script over here, says circle rotator in the asset, so I will attach it. Okay, so let's attach it. So I attach twice, so I'm gonna remove one. So right click and remove component and double click that to open up in Visual Studio. Okay, So let's make our script a little more cleaner. So I will delete this. We don't need start function and this comment, also these two namespaces in the top, so let's remove those. Instead we need a amount, how much fast we want to rotate that circle or the wheel, circle wheel. Okay, we need to rotate, so let's make a variable for it. Okay, so let's create a public float. Okay, and let's call it something like rotate speed, rotate underscore speed, and by default it I'm gonna give it to 100 unit or 100 f. Okay, so as you can see we have just pass 100 unit to rotate our that circle wheel, color wheel. Okay, and what we will do over here now, to rotate that, as you know, we have gone through that transform, then rotation, and then if we played around z-axis, and we saw the change, that circle is rotating. Okay, so to rotate that circle we have to use rotation, sorry, transform dot rotate. Okay, and over here we have to pass three axes. It will take x-axis, y-axis, and the z-axis. We know if we play around with z-axis it's rotating. Okay, so for our x-axis we will pass 0f. We don't want to rotate around x-axis, let's put a 0f on the y as well. And for the z-axis we will put this 100. So we will rotate that circle wheel 100 unit every single frame, because we're doing update function and we know update function calls every single frame. Okay, so over here we will, what we will do, we will pass this rotate speed. Okay, rotate speed, and we know rotate speed is 100, so every single frame that circle will rotate 100 unit. Okay, and we also have to multiply this rotate speed with time dot delta time to make frame rate independence. Okay, so let's multiply it, time dot delta time. Okay, and close that up with semicolon. Control S on your keyboard to save your code, and let's move to Unity now. So this circle will rotate 100 amount of speed every single frame, but we can adjust it in circle rotator script because we made that field public, as you know. Okay, so that's why we don't need to go to that script over again and again and again and just play around with the value. Okay, so as you can see, rotate speed by default we have given 100, but over here you can play around with this number and you will get a pretty cool number if you want. Okay, so let's hit this play button in the top, and let's see if the circle is really just rotating or not. It should rotate. Okay, so as you can see the circle is rotating. Okay, and you can adjust the rotate speeds, it's totally up to you. If I make this something like 50, as you can see the circle is rotating twice, twice, uh, you can say twice less. Okay, something like that. So let's make it something like 200. If I put it over here 0, as you can see the circle is not rotating. So let's put 100, so it's now rotating, and you can put something like 110. It will rotate 10% more. Okay, and you can just play around with rotate speed and you're gonna get hang of it. Okay, and in the negative value we can, if we pass in -100, okay, something like this, as you can see -100, it's rotating to the opposite direction now. Okay, and you can play around with this value and you will get hang of it. I hope you get the idea how you can rotate any game object any direction you want. Sorry, not any direction, about z direction. Okay, so I hope you get the idea. So I will put 100 over here. Okay, and what you need, so I'm gonna unplay this. You need to make this small circle prefab. Basically prefab basically means a copy of this game object. Okay, So to make it prefab, select the game object first, okay, and drag it to the assets folder or make a prefab folder. It's totally up to you what we want. So let's make a prefab folder to keep all of the things organized so we can find easily. If we need anywhere, we can just look around in our assets and we definitely gonna find faster. Okay, if we just keep all the things in arrange or keep all the things in organized way. Okay, so to do that, go to assets, right click, create. Okay, create folder. Let's call this folder something like prefabs. Okay, prefabs, and hit enter. And let's take this game object, this basically the parent one, take this and drag it out into that prefab folder. Now it's turned into a prefab, as you can see. And if I delete this small circle game object from this in view, now as you can see it's gone, but we made it prefab. Okay, as you seen. So what we need to select that game object prefab what we made, select that. You can drag it to hierarchy or you can directly drag it to scene view like this, but I'm gonna do it hierarchy. As you can see, all of the shape option is in arrangement. As you can see, we have passed a default value which is 100 unit. It's already there. So that is the cool thing. Basically prefab basically means copy of this game object. If you just lost it from this in view or hierarchy, you won't able to restore it if you don't make it prefab. Okay, so you have to make that circle. Okay, this will, okay, will color will from scratch. You need to take all of the parts, you need to align it correctly, and all of the kind of things you have to do. So to get rid of that, we need to make prefab. Okay, so we can easily turn or easily take that game object and drag it to scene or hierarchy. Okay, we don't need to make it from scratch now. And the cool thing is that if I hit this play button in the top, we would expect to see this ball will pass through it, because we set all of the collider is triggered to true, basically in not gonna register. Okay, if I press down space key, this ball will jump, we know, y-axis. As you can see, we are able to pass through it. Okay, because we have set all of this collider. If I select all of the parts, yellow, this and this, okay, select all of them, as you can see we have check is triggered to true. So that's why it's not registering our player to get inside of it or pass through. Okay, so I hope you get the idea how you can just do it and make anything, any game object. Just rotate that in the axis you want. Okay, and you have to adjust this value. As you can see, I don't think it's set perfectly aligned. Oh, okay, it's not perfectly aligned aligned yet. So you can take all of these parts and just make it a little bit aligned. I can see this this part is not looking perfectly aligned. So you just have to play around with that and you're gonna get hang of it. And make a game object and place all of this part on top of that game object. So this game object will be our parent and we can take this game object anywhere we want in our scene view or hierarchy. Okay, so I hope you get the idea how it works. We don't have a pink color, you can say this one. Okay, so what we want to do, let's change this a different color. I guess this one is pink, so let's go to sprite renderer. Then let's choose a different color, bluish. I don't know if it's blue or not. just just going, uh, let's choose green instead. Okay, I don't know, we should choose green. So oh, I guess so. Let's dark, this one will be dark. Okay, uh, dark red. Okay, so dark red, we will go with a dark red. Okay, so let's uncut this one. Okay, so if I take my player game object and select this move tool, I'm gonna set to x0. If I hit this play button, I just wanna set this our ball or this player game object a different color. Okay, every time when we enter the game, I wanna set this ball these colors like yellow, cyan, and magenta. Okay, so I want to set this a different color. As you can see, the ball is just white. Okay, white boring, you can say white boring. So we want to just change the color of this ball every single time when we enter the game. Okay, and we will change the color as the color of our circle wheel or the rotator wheel. Okay, so let's do that. So let's open up our script or player script or the ball script. Okay, by double clicking on it, as you can see, we have start method. If you don't, just write after it, right after. Okay, just write this. Okay, void at start, and we know start function get called when the game starts. Okay, so let's make a different let's make a function. Okay, so let's go to the bottom of our class. Let's make a void for function, and let's call this function set random underscore color. Okay, color first bracket and some curly brackets. So in this function we just want to set this ball or the player game object a different color. Whenever we enter the game, we will set a random color. Okay, the circle will, we can set this yellow, cyan, magenta, and this dark red. Okay, or red you can call. Okay, so let's go to our script one more time, and over here we will create a random dot range function. Okay, a random dot range function, and this function we have to pass a minimum exclusive, I guess, inclusive, and maximum inclusive. Okay, so we will pass as a first 0. Okay, 0, and we will pass over here as a second argument 4, and close that up with semicolon. Okay, whenever we call this function set random color, this random dot range function will pick up a random number between 0 and 4. Okay, it will not include 4, but it will include 3. Okay, so this random dot range function can be 0, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, but it will not include 4, our 4. So let's store whatever this ones picks up. Okay, pick up, we will store into a integer variable. Okay, let's call this something like index, and let's set equal to this. So this index over here can be 0, 1, and 0, 1, 2, and 3. So it can be 4 different values. Okay, sorry, 4 different values: 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we will check. So we will check if index, okay, something like if index is equals to 0. Okay, if that is the case, make some curly brackets. What we want to do, if the index, if the random dot range function over here pickups 0. Okay, so the index over here will be 0. Basically we storing that whatever we got, we storing into this index container or variable. And over here we checking, okay, if the index is equals to 0. If that is the case, do one thing. Basically we want to change a some certain color. Okay, we want to change in certain color. So else if, okay, else if index is not equal to 0. Okay, we will check if if index is equals to 1, then do just change to another color. Okay, we will set some certain color. If it's just index becomes 0, then we will say, as let's assume yellow. Okay, And for if index becomes 1 over here, as you can see, index, if index is equals to 1, so we will set a different color, something like, let's assume cyan. Okay, so for different cases, we will just wanna set the ball color to a different color. Okay, so else if we will check, else if index, okay, index is equals to 2, so that in that situation we will do another color we just want to set. Okay, so make some curly brackets and one more time, else if index, because we know this random dot range function will return 4 values. It can be 0, 1, 2 and 3, but it will not include 4. Okay, so we will check if index is equals to 3, so then do another thing, so make some curly brackets. Now we have done all of the result we got, and we need to set that up. Okay, basically what we need to change the color of this ball every time we enter the game, we need a reference of this sprite renderer of this player. Okay, as you can see, if we just click on it, sprite renderer, and go over to this color field, we can change color, something like dark red, yellow, any color we want. Okay, any color we want we can change. So basically what we need, I'm gonna leave it to white. We need a reference of this sprite renderer, then we can set the color we want. Okay, so let's go to script one more time. So let's go to top of our class, and over here let's make a public field, public sprite renderer. Okay, sprite renderer, let's call it sr, close that up with semicolon. So sr basically means sprite renderer. Okay, so control s, and what we need, so we would expect to see the field over here as sprite renderer, and we name it sr. So what we need, we just need to drag this sprite renderer right there, so we will have the link up of this player sprite renderer, so then we can change the color we want to change. Okay, so we have 4 different colors, as you can see. When I enter the gun, whenever we try to enter the game, okay, we want to change the color of this player game object, any of this color of circle rotator. So we have over here yellow, magenta, cyan and dark red. We want to change according to this color, we want to change our player game object color. Okay, so we need 4 different color. Okay, 4 different color, so let's make those. Okay, so let's go to top of our class, make it public so we can see it over here and we can change the color. Okay, so public, let's that will be color. Okay, let's call this one to yellow color. Okay, uh, yellow, yellow underscore color. Okay, and let's copy this line of code and paste it, control c for copy it, and let's paste it 3 times in the bottom. Okay, so we will have 4 different colors. So let's remove this yellow, let's call this one to be cyan. Okay, cyan, and this one we will call magenta. Okay, magenta. I'm really apologize if I'm doing a spelling wrong, I'm just spelling wrong, I guess, so I apologize for that. Okay, and for this one we will choose a random color. Basically we want to specify a color. This one will be dark red, or you can call something like red. We don't have the pink one, we change it. Okay, let's call this one red instead. Okay, it will be fine. So control s on your keyboard to save your board. Okay, and move to unity. So we would expect to see a field of this. Firstly, sprite renderer, what we need to drag this sprite renderer right there into that field, so we will have the link up sprite renderer, then we can change the color we want to change. Okay, uh, so just wait for to compile. When the compile is complete, just drag the sprite renderer. Okay, as you can see, sprite renderer SR, which says empty, which says none. Okay, basically means empty. So just select this sprite renderer and drag it right there into that field. Now we have the sprite renderer of player. Okay, as you can see, we have 4 different color field. One is yellow color, cyan, magenta, red. Okay, so let's assign those color. A yellow color, we will choose yellow. So click on it and click on this pencil icon or this icon, pickup icon, I guess. So let's choose this yellow one. For our yellow goes to yellow. Okay, we have 4 different colors, so that's why we created 4 different color field. Okay, and we have to assign those. For this cyan color, what do we want? So just pick this up and let's choose cyan for the cyan, and magenta for this our magenta, and for this dark red or this red we will choose this one. Okay, now we assign it all of the colors and sprite renderer. Okay, so let's go to script one more time, and over here okay, over here what we want, if the index is 1, okay, so what we want to do, we want to choose a some specific color to our player game object. So you can set something like yellow, magenta, cyan. It's totally up to you what color you want to choose for if the index becomes 0. Okay, for in my case I will choose something like magenta. Okay, so I will say sr dot color. Basically we going over to this player game object, then sprite renderer, then accessing this color field, and we setting this color to yellow, sorry, magenta, basically this one. Okay, so we will set equal to magenta color, magenta color, and we know magenta color is this one. Okay, this one, the third one I guess, from the bottom. Okay, so firstly we going over to a sprite renderer, then color, and we changing this color to our magenta, this one. Okay, magenta, and let's copy this line of code, control C, and let's paste it 3 times in the bottom. Okay, and for if the index is became 1, I want to set a different color. Okay, something like I will choose yellow color. It's totally up to you what we want or what you want. Okay, and for the third one, okay, or the if the index becomes 2, let's say cyan color. Okay, cyan color, and for if the index becomes 3, then I want to set red or dark red color, you can say. Okay, so control S on your keyboard to save your code, but we need to call this function, we never calling it. So the color will not be changed. Okay, to change the color, every time we enter the game we have to call this function in the start of the game. Okay, so let's call it. So let's call it, and we know start function get call when the game starts. Okay, so from there we will call set random color. Okay, and make first bracket, close that off with semicolon, control S on your keyboard, save your code, and we know what we're doing inside this function. Okay, we calling this function, and firstly this function picks up a random number between 0 and 4. It can be 0 1 0 1 2 3. Okay, but it will not be 4. And if the index becomes 0, and we assume if the index is 0, then we setting the color of that sprite renderer or the player game object color to magenta color, and if the index is 1, then we setting yellow, then and so on. Okay, so control S on your keyboard to save your code, and let's move to Unity now. Okay, so when we hit this play button in the top, we should able to see whenever the game starts, this sprite renderer or this player sprite player color will be changed according to our index we set. If the index is 0, we know we setting magenta color, I guess. Yeah, magenta color. So hit this play button in the top. Okay, we should able to see the player game object will change the color right after the game starts according to our color we assign it. Okay, so as you can see it said cyan. Okay, we entered the game, the color is cyan. Now I will unplay this and play one more time this. We know start function get called one time in the start of the game, and what we're doing, we calling that set random color function, and we know what we're doing in that function. Okay, so at the second time, as you can see, it's a just change it color to our player game object color to magenta. Okay, now try this one more time. If I hit this play button, it should choose a random color. Basically player color will be a random color. Okay, and so just wait for to compile and see the result. So it picks up magenta one more time. Okay, so let's hit this play button one more time. Okay, just play around with those. Okay, and you're gonna get hang of it. uh, let's do cyan. It says cyan. Let's play one more time. We should see yellow, and this dark red or this red color will also be picked up. Okay, the player game object will do that color change. I don't know, it's changing to cyan. Okay, so let's do one more time. Okay, so just wait. We should able to see magenta. I don't know, magenta and yellow, sorry, cyan picks up a lot of time. Instead of we should able to see this player game object also change color to this yellow and or dark red. So as you can see, it's changes to red. Basically that function is working fine. Okay, and I hope you get the idea how you can change color every single time when you start the game. Right after the game start, the player will choose a color. Basically the circle will, according to our circle will. Okay, so let's do one thing and make sure you added a collider to this player game object and also this circle rotator. Okay, select all of the pieces and add up a polygon collider and make sure you check this one is triggered to true. So this collider so this collider not gonna register our player to get through it or pass through our circle rotator. Make sure, and also you select the player and add up a circle collider 2D, and you set this is trigger to true to not get register to this circle rotator, or we are not gonna able to pass through it. Okay, so make sure. So let's open up a script. Before it, what we want to assign all of these small parts or all of this color to a certain color tag. Okay, we just want to assign this yellow part to a yellow tag, this cyan color to cyan tag, and so on. Okay, so select let's select this cyan one and click on untag in the inspector top right. Okay, and click on add tag, hit this plus icon, name the tag what you want. So let's call this one cyan. Okay, hit this plus icon one more time. We will create 4 different tags for different colors, and we have to assign those. Okay, so let's create yellow one. Okay, and hit this plus icon one more time. Red or dark red, it's totally up to you. So I want to set something like dark red, I guess. Dark underscore, sorry, not underscore, you can say underscore, it's totally fine. Dark underscore red. Okay, hit this plus icon, and I really apologize if I am just wrong about the color correction. Okay, I don't know if it's the dark one or not, just I assign it. Okay, it's totally up to you. So dark red, and one we have magenta. Okay, magenta, and now fine. So let's select this cyan and let's assign this cyan as cyan tag. So let's click on untag. Let's choose cyan, and it's for this one we will choose yellow. Okay, yellow, and for this one we will choose dark red, and for magenta we will assign this magenta as a magenta tag. Okay, now we assign it all of these single parts to a some certain tags. Okay, uh, So let's open up our script one more time, and in the bottom we will use on inbuilt function, okay, of Unity. Basically, when we trigger or collide, we have a function, okay, in Unity. It's called, so let's go to bottom. It's called on trigger enter 2D, okay, trigger enter 2D, and this function get call or trigger whenever we just trigger, okay, whenever we trigger with this circle or anything else, okay. And we do know if we trigger with this circle rotator, this function will call out, okay, this function will get call, and we can extract info whatever we collided with. We can extract info, the name of the game object we triggered it with or collided with, name, tag, whatever we want, okay. So let's say we want to print out the tag of the game object we triggered it with or collided with, okay. So to print out, we do know we have to use debug.log, okay, debug.log, and by this other variable collided to the other variable, we can extract info whatever we trigger it with, okay, by going to this other. So other, okay, other dot, you can name, as you can see, you can access the name of the game object, transform component of the game object. And so in this case, what I want to do, I want to just print out the tag of that game object, and we do know we all assign it all of the single parts to a some certain tag. So we would expect to see the tag will appear in the console, okay, something like magenta, cyan, yellow, as we know we assign it, okay. So let's print out the tag of the game object. So we have to use other dot tag, okay, and close that off with semicolon, sorry, close that off with semicolon, control S to save your code, and let's move to Unity. And when we trigger with this circle rotator, okay, the tag of that game object will print out in the console, and we do know that we assign it all of these single parts to a some certain tags. For this yellow, okay, select the console in the bottom and hit this play button. If we collide with this yellow, we should able to see yellow tag will appear in the console, and if we do anything else, the game object tag will appear in the console. As you can see, magenta, dark red, okay, magenta, cyan, if we collide with cyan or trigger with cyan, okay, the cyan is popping out in the console. If we trigger dark red just popping out in the console. So it's basically working fine, okay. So what we want to do instead, if we don't collide with, let's suppose this player is yellow color, okay, and if we hit with this magenta, dark red, or this cyan, then the game should over. It just have to only pass through this yellow, we assume it, okay, yellow, not this or this or this. So we can pass, okay. So keep track of the color of this player game object. We will make one more variable that will just keep track which color we currently have, okay. So let's go to script one more time, okay, one more time. So let's go to top of our class, that will be string, okay. Let's make it public string. It doesn't need to be public, it's totally up to you. String, let's call it current color, current underscore color, okay, and I'm not gonna default it some value. So this current color variable over here, string variable, that is just name, okay, we'll keep track of which color we currently have. So let's suppose when we start the game, we calling this function, okay. So if index is 0, then we have we just changing our player color to magenta color. So what we will do, we will set this current color to magenta color if we do have the magenta, okay. And if we do have else something like this yellow, then we will set that current color to yellow, okay. So what we have, so if the color it becomes magenta, so we will set this current color, okay, current color equal to magenta, okay, magenta, and close that up with semicolon. So this current color field, okay, so sorry, this name, current color name will be magenta if we just have magenta color, okay, if the player game object have magenta color. Else what we will do, so let's copy this line of code and paste it, control C for copy, and let's paste it down in the bottom 3 times, okay. If we have yellow color, then if we want to set this current color string variable to yellow, okay. So let's set it to yellow, and for this cyan, okay, we will choose cyan, and for this magenta, for this red dark color, let's do red underscore, or you dark red, I guess, dark red as the name of the tag. You can say something like that, it's totally up to you, okay. So this current color can be this current color name can be yellow, magenta, or cyan, or dark red, depending upon what color player currently have, okay. And we do know if player color have yellow, in that case we setting that current color parameter, this name, basically this current color name will be yellow right after that, okay. So sorry for the background noises, okay, I'm really sorry. So I just want to remove this on trigger enter function, or you just have to make two forward slashes or slashes, okay, slashes to not interrupt our coding, okay. You can remove this function, you can say, okay. So control S on your keyboard to save your code, and let's move to Unity and select this player game object. We would expect to see current color field will appear, and by default we haven't set to any name, so it will be totally empty. But whatever color this player game object becomes, that color name will be on our current color. So if I select this player and ball script, as you can see current color, the name over here is empty. Now if I hit this play button over here in the top, and if this player game object choose some certain color, so the name of the color will also be over here, because we said, as you seen, okay, as you can see cyan. So the cyan current color becomes over here, basically current color string name became cyan. But if we hit this play button one more time, so I'm gonna clear, which should see a different color name will be appear over here according to the player game object color, okay. We should able to see. So as you can see magenta, so where player choose a magenta color, okay, so the name of the color we set over here current color to magenta, as you can see, okay. So basically that working fine, okay. So in the next we will cover up the registration, sorry, trigger, okay. Quickly open up our script, let's open that up. So just double click on it and you will open up your script. So use this function on trigger into 2D, just type right after me, okay. If you haven't included yet, just type on trigger into 2D, okay. On trigger enter 2D. So I will remove this one for now. Let's type on trigger enter 2D, okay. And we know that this function get called when we trigger with something, okay. If the if the ball collide with this parts of the circle rotator, then this function will automatically get called, okay. And we can extract info whatever we trigger it with by going to this other. We can extract info something like tag of that game object, name of that game object, or anything else we can extract, okay. Let's suppose we just wanna extract the tag of that game object, and we know we assign it every single parts of that circle rotator, like this cyan, we assign it this cyan, okay, as a cyan tag, as you can see in the inspector. If you haven't done it yet, so what you need to do, click on it and then add tag and hit this plus icon. Okay, and name for tag cyan, whatever color the circle rotator has. Okay, just name all of the color and assign them one by one. Okay, like I assigned this cyan as a cyan tag, as you can see. So let's go to script one more time, and let's type debug.log. We want to see a message, so we have to type debug.log. Okay, and we can extract info like a name of the game object by going to this other variable. Okay, so let's go. So other dot you can extract info like name. Okay, or you can extract info like tag. So I just wanna print out the tag of that game object and close that off with semicolon. Control S to save your code, and let's move to Unity. Okay, so if we trigger with this cyan, then the cyan tag will be popped up in the console. If we trigger with this yellow, then yellow message will be popped up in the console, because we assign it every single parts of the circle rotator with some certain tags. For this yellow we assign it yellow tag, for this cyan we assign it cyan tag, and so on. Okay, so just wait for to compile. When it's done, hit this play button in the top. Okay, I'm just having the tea, sorry. Now if I hit this play button and select the console in the bottom, okay, bottom, we should able to see this ball will change the color according to the color we have. As you can see, we are able to see if we trigger with this yellow. If I clear the console a little bit, so if I trigger with this yellow, okay, yellow, as you can see, whatever we trigger it with, the name of that game object, basically the tag, getting print out in the console. If we trigger with magenta, we see able to see magenta, then cyan, yellow, dark reds, and the list goes on. Okay, so what actually we want to do, this ball game object should only pass the color we have. Let's assume this ball change color to yellow. So if this ball pass through this yellow, then the game should just running. Okay, and if this ball don't just pass through yellow, or it passes through cyan or any other color, then we want the game to be over. Okay, over. So basically this ball need to pass through the color just match up. Okay, now if I hit this play button, let me explain it. Okay, so as you can see, we cyan. Okay, the color is cyan. So if we just we only can pass through cyan. Okay, we just assume that whatever color the player just becomes, it should pass through with that color, not any other color like this yellow, magenta, or this dark red. Okay, so let's open up our script one more time, and over here we will check. Okay, we will check if current color. Okay, current color, we know this field over here checks or it stores which color we have. Okay, something like if we do have yellow color, if the ball becomes yellow color, so this current color will be yellow. Okay, so if the current color is equals to other dot tag, okay, if that is the case, sorry, if current color other dot tag, okay, tag, if that is the case, so make some curly bracket. So as you can see, if current color equals to other tag, and we do know this current color just stores the color which we have. Let's assume this current color is yellow, okay, and if over here we checking if yellow is equals to other dot tag. Basically we just going to game object and we accessing the tag. So let's suppose this other dot text is yellow, okay, as well as yellow. We do know that we assign it all of these small parts or all of this part with certain tag. We assign it this yellow as a yellow tag, as you can see. So over here we checking, okay, if current color we assume it yellow, if that is equals to a yellow, okay, so in that situation which we will pass through it, okay, we will pass through. But else if we just not going to that color, not going over to that color, like something like if we collide with cyan, magenta or dark red, in that case we should see the game should be over, okay. So over here we checking. So if the current color is not equal to other dot tag, something like if that yellow color is not equal to yellow, okay, so something like exclamation mark. So if that current color is not equal to our the game object we collided with or the color we collided with, so basically we messed up, okay, we messed up and we need to game to be over, okay. So if the current color is not equal to our color we just passing through, okay, so in that case we just messed up and we need to our game to be over, okay. So what we will type, we will type so debug.log, okay, debug.log, sorry, debug.log, and make first bracket. So and in quotation you can say whatever you want to say the message. I want to say something like game is over because the color didn't match and we didn't over pass through or trigger it with the same color or the exact color we need to pass through, okay. So we just assume it, okay, and close that up with semicolon, control S to save your code. Let's move to Unity one more time and select the console in the bottom. If the player just pass through with a different color, not that with that color exactly what color player has, and if the player just not pass through that color, that means the game should be over. And we know we just printing out, as you can see, if the current color is not equal to whatever color okay the part has the player, as you can see, okay, if the current color means the player color is not equal to the color we pass through, okay, so in that situation we just printing out a message, as you can see, game is over, okay. So just hit this play button in the top and let's see, okay. Sorry, I have just, as you can see we have magenta. So if we don't collide with other if we collide with other color, as you can see game says over in the console, okay. But if we pass through with this magenta, we should able to see that message will not pop up, okay. Let me explain one more time, okay. So as you can see the game is over, the game is over, okay. Else if, okay, else if we will check if other, okay, other talk, or else what else you can do, just make this curly brackets, or else if, use else if other, okay, sorry, the current color is equals to that the color we just passed through. If that is the case, basically our player color just passed through the same with the same color of that circle. So in that situation the player should be alive and it should just move over to the top, okay. So basically in that case the game is not over, okay, we still alive. So if the current color means the player color is equals to other dot tag, okay, other dot tag, basically whatever game object we collided with or we just accessing that and tag of that game object. Let's assume now this current color is cyan, and the game object we trigger it with or collided with has the tag cyan. So in that situation, over here, as you can see, we checking if the current color is equals to other dot tag. Okay, so in that situation, the color matches, so the game should not be over. So in that situation, player can pass through. Okay, so debug.logs, let's assume debug.log, let's say in quotation, player can pass through. Okay, the game is not over, or you can say player, something like player is still alive. Okay, it's totally up to you what you want to say, and close that up with semicolon. And I will remove this message to not interrupt our code. Okay, or you can make double slashes over here. Okay, let's control S and now head back to Unity. And if the player game object, whatever player game object color becomes, and if that collide or trigger it with the same color, that message will pop up in the console, says the player is still alive. Okay, let me clear the console. Let's hit this play button and let's see what color player becomes, and if the player game object just passed through with that color, we would able to see that message. As you can see, whenever we just triggering with cyan, okay, we are able to see the message says player is still alive. But if we collide with any other color, we're not able to see the message in the console. Okay, but when we ever we trigger with the cyan, we should able to see that message will pop up, as you can see. I hope you get the idea what is exactly happening. Okay, exactly happening. And the thing is that if we hit this play button one more time, okay, this player game object should basically our main camera is not following. In the original game, the camera just move with our player in the y-axis to the up. Okay, the camera just stays in the center, as you can see. Sorry, it's not moving with our player game object. Okay, the player game object can move further up, but the problem is that our main camera or the camera just not following our player game object. So in that situation, what we will do, we will make a script that will follow our player game object. Basically, if I unplay this main camera, okay, this main camera in the just only y-axis, it will follow. Okay, something like this. If the player right over here, so main camera should also be there. Okay, something like this. So we need to move our main camera in the player is going. Okay, I'm gonna set back to 0 one more time to main camera position. Okay, to follow the player game object. Okay, let's create a separate script for that. Go to project tab, then assets, right click, create C# script. Okay, C# script, and name it to something like follow. I already created right over here. So select the main camera and drag that script. Okay, drag that script to this add component section, or what else you can do, select the main camera, add component. Okay, then new script, and the name is name the script what you want, and then create an add. Okay, it's also do the same thing. Okay, and you need to attach the script to your main camera, and we just only follow the player in the y axis. Okay, not in the x or not in the z axis. So I'm gonna put 0 again and 0, and let's took this a little bit bottom. Okay, so this main camera will follow the player in the y-axis. As you can see, if we just go to transform and then play around with y-axis, we can able to see the camera indeed going up and down. But if the player is over here player is over here and main camera is over here. So in that situation, we will stop following our player game object. If the player game object is up from this our main camera, so in that situation this main camera will follow. If the player just falls down, so in that situation this main camera will not follow the player. Okay, we will make like that. Okay, something like main camera is here and ball is here. So in that situation we will stop following our player game object. So main camera will stays wherever the player stays, and if the player falls, but main camera will be always over there. Okay, so in following the main camera will not follow. Okay, let me explain it through script. Okay, so let's set back to 0 one more time. I'm gonna do 0 for main camera. So let's open up this script by double clicking on it. Okay, we can see we have start and update function. So let's remove this start function, and also these two namespaces in the top, we don't need it for now. Instead, to follow our player, okay, to follow our player game object, we need player position. Okay, we need to keep track of player position, then we can follow up our player. Okay, so what we will do, we will go to this player, and as you can see transform, which has transform component which has rotation, position, rotation and scale. So we need that transform which is responsible position. Okay, so need player transform. So let's make a public field. Okay, public transform which we know responsible for position, and let's call it something like player underscore position or player. Okay, so let's call it player. Close that up with semicolon, control S to save your code. Let's move to Unity. We would expect to see an empty field in our follow script. Player transform will appear, and it by default it will be empty. Okay, so what we need to drag this player right there. Okay, so we will have the link up of our player position that we can follow up. Okay, follow up wherever the player goes. If it goes down, so in that situation we're not gonna follow. Okay, so select this main camera. As you can see in follow script, we are able to see player transform, it says none. So let's select this player and drag it out there. As you can see, we have now player transform, basically means position, you can say. Okay, so let's go to script. Now we have player position, and over here we will type transform. Okay, transform dot position, and we will set equal to transform dot position, basically current position of main camera. Okay, if we select the main camera, and as you can see in transform, okay, which has position, rotation and scale, so this over transform dot position means this transform dot position, basically the current position of our main camera. Okay, so let's go to script one more time, and we will set equal to new vector 3. Okay, vector 3, and we know vector 3 has x-axis, y-axis and the z-axis. Okay, and close that off with semicolon. So we don't want to follow the player in the x-axis, so we will put a 0f in the x, and we just want to follow our player in the y-axis. Okay, so before we follow y-axis, so we will put player dot position dot y, and we will also do the same thing. We're not gonna follow the player in the z-axis, so you can put -10. Okay, -10f, basically the camera should be away from our all of the scenery, so the main camera can shoot. If we just take our player all of the scenery and main camera at the same position, as you can see player will not get anything. Okay, so that's why we will backward our main camera to capture whole thing. Okay, so that's why we putting -10. Instead, what we else can do, we will put transform dot position dot z. What does it this means? It's basically means current position in the z axis, okay, itself of our main camera. So if we go to Unity, as you can see -10, okay, by default. So this one over here will be -10. Basically it's referencing the own position itself in the z axis. Okay, so instead of putting 0f in the x, as you can see, let's put the same thing as we did for z axis. Okay, so let's put transform Okay, let's put transform dot position dot x. Okay, dot x, basically it's itself position in the x-axis. We know if we move to unity one more time, which is 0, so this one over here will be automatically 0. Okay, but the before we follow, as you can see, we following our player. Okay, in the y-axis, wherever the player is going, if we going down, we also following the player in the y-axis. But we only want to follow if the player is above, if the player is above from the main camera or center. Okay, center, then we should follow, else we should not. If the player, okay, player ball if just fall down, okay, let me explain. If this player is over here, as you can see, player main camera is very above from our player, so in that situation we're not gonna follow this ball. Okay, in that situation we will not follow this player. But if the player is something like over here, as you can see, player position is greater than our main camera. Now we can see that. So in that situation the main camera should follow the player, and if the player or this ball goes down over here, so the player position is lesser than our main camera. Okay, so basically down, our ball is down, so in that situation player should not follow or should not go to down like this. We only want the main camera to go to up. Okay, so we will set back to 0. So before we follow our player game object, as you can see we following, we will check. Okay, we will check if transform, okay, transform dot position dot y, basically current position in the y axis of our main camera, which is 0. Okay, by default, okay, it will be, if it's greater than our player, so okay, player dot position dot y. So basically we going over to this player and then we checking this y. If so if our current position in the y axis, main camera current position in the y axis, okay, if it's greater than our player position in the y axis. Okay, so in the sorry, instead of typing this we have to type like this. Sorry, I really apologize. So we have to type this player dot position dot y. Okay, if it's greater than transform dot position dot y. Okay, transform dot position dot y, make some curly brackets. So if the player position is greater than, basically the player is over here. Okay, we checking if the player position in the y axis, if it's greater than our player. So as you can see in this case it will be the player position is greater than our main camera position in the y axis, as you can see. So in that situation this main camera should follow, else it not. Okay, so we will put this line of code. So this is our following statement. This line of code is a reason for following our player, and over here we checking, as you can see. So let's control X for cut and let's paste it over here, control V. Okay, so we only following the player if the player position in the y-axis is greater than our main camera position in the y-axis, means the player is over here. Okay, if over here, then this main camera will follow the player in the y-axis only. As you can see, we just replace our y-axis with our player position with y-axis. Okay, so control S on your keyboard to save your code, and head back to Unity. If you move this ball below or down, okay, the main camera will not follow. But if the player position is above from our main camera, so the main camera will follow the player like that. Just let me show that. So I will select this main camera, sorry, player, and let's drag this bottom. So in this situation this main camera will not follow this player, because as you can see the main camera position is greater than our player position, not player position is greater than our main camera position. We only checking for if the player position is greater than main camera position, okay, in the y-axis only. So in that situation we just following, else we not following our player. So let me hit this play button and see the result, what's really happening. Okay, just wait. So as you can see, when if the player position goes up, then as you can see, if the player just fall down, main camera not following our player game object in the way. It's only following when the player game object goes above from our main camera, then we just following. As you can see, we checking if the player position is greater than our main camera position in the y-axis, then we are following. Okay, we setting the current position of main camera to the position we want to go. Okay, so I hope you get the idea. Let me show you one more time. Okay, let hit this play button and see the result, what's really happening. Okay, we should able to see if the player is greater than okay, so I will pause the button now because the player jumping too much high. So I will go to player. You can pause the game by hitting this pause button in the top center. Okay, let's go to ball script and I will make jump height a little bit lower, twice lower. Now if I hit this pause button one more time, it will play the game. So as you can see, you can check it over here. Oh, okay. The main camera is not following our player because the player position, as you can see, it's not greater than our main camera position in the y-axis. But if if it's became, as you can see now, player is sorry, main camera just following our player in the y-axis when it's become greater than or equal to that, as you can see. So I hope you get the idea. But when the ball goes down, main camera is not following the ball in the down direction. Okay, so that's pretty cool thing. Okay, I hope you get the idea how it works, how you can follow any game object in certain direction if you want. Okay, with your main camera. I hope you get the idea and you can use this method to implement in your game or whatever game you are working on it. You can do little this little thing. You can follow any game object in certain direction. Okay, um, I hope you get the idea of it. Let's duplicate this small circle couple of times. Also this color changer to make the level more enjoyable and little more hard. Okay, to do so, select this small circle, Control D to duplicate it, and let's move it up something like over here. Okay, and what we can do, we can rotate this circle. Instead of clockwise, we can rotate this circle anti-clockwise by just putting this rotate speed to -80, so it will rotate opposite side. Okay, let me show you how. So let's put -80 and this one is plus 80, as you can see. Now if I hit this play button in the top, this circle will just rotate anti-clock. Okay, or reverse, and this one will rotate as normal, like to the right. Okay, so you can able to see, as you can see, this one is rotating to the right side and this one rotating sorry, this one rotating, I don't know. Okay, sorry, I'm really sorry. Actually, this one rotating anti-clockwise and this one rotating clockwise. Okay, so I hope you get the idea. And also duplicate this color changer. So select that, so we can change color one more time when we just pass through some circle rotator. We still can change the color. Okay, instead of just using the same color over again and again to pass through it. Okay, so select that color changer, Control D to duplicate and move it up over here when we pass to circle, I guess. And just select this small circle one more time, and or this small circle one, Control D to duplicate. Let's move it up over here. Okay, something like over here, and let's duplicate this one more time. So Control D to duplicate, and what we will do for this, go to this scale tool. Okay, let's scale it in the X, something like 2, I guess, not 2, 1.5. Okay, 1.5, and in the y we will do 1.5 as well. So as you can see, we have a circle rotator. Okay, now if I hit this play button in the top, we hope that the circle will rotate fine, and it would be pretty great. Okay, so as you can see, the circle is rotating. So let's duplicate this one as well. Okay, both of this one, so select both of them by selecting this one, I guess this and this. Okay, so holding down shift or control, okay, hold down control and select both of them, and control D to duplicate, and let's move it up over here, something like over here. And what we will do, one of we want to move clockwise, and one other, the bigger one, we want to move it anti-clockwise. To do so, let's choose any of them. So I will choose this, the bigger one. So I want to move this clockwise, and the small one, if I select this small one, I guess, as you can see, it's also minus 80, means it will rotate, I guess not clockwise, sorry, clockwise. I'm really messed up, I really apologize. So one of I want to move clockwise, and one other I want to move anti-clockwise. Okay, so I will choose the bigger one. Bigger one will be anti-clockwise, so I will put 80 instead of minus 80, so it will move clockwise. And I will put for this small circle minus 80, so it will just rotate anti-clockwise. Let me show you how. Okay, so let's hit this play button in the top, and let's see the result, what's really happening. We should hope that the bigger one will move to the left side, and the smaller one will move to the right side, as you can see. Okay, as you can see, this is pretty cool. Okay, so what we will do now, uh, so let's duplicate this color changes as well. When we pass through this circle, this double circle, over here I want to duplicate this color changes, so we can change the color one more time. Okay, as many time as we pass through, we want to change our player color as well. So that's why we creating small color changer duplicate multiple times. Okay, when we pass through, so let's select that, control D to duplicate, and let's move it up in the middle of these circles. Okay, and now if I hit this play button, we should hope that it will work fine. But the problem is that this ball gets fall down right after the game start, and we don't want that. Okay, as you can see, it's fall down, it's trying to fall down. So what we can do to get rid of that, to do so, select the player game object or this ball. Okay, select it and go to rigid body. Go to inspector first and scroll down rigid body, and click on rigid body, and we can see the properties. So sleeping mode, as you can see, it says start awake. Okay, so we will choose start asleep. Okay, when we start the game, so this will just sleep, our ball game object will sleep until we just press down our space key on our keyboard. It will jump, so it will just go through from sleep to awake right away. Okay, let me show you how. So hit this play button, and it will just stays right there until I hit the space button on my keyboard. So from sleeping, it will go right away to awake. Okay, awake situation. As you can see, it just sleeping, you can say something like that, or it just staying right there until I hit space key. As you can see, now it's pretty fine. So I will pass through this. Okay, so it's pretty cool. I am changing the color. Okay, so I don't know, the same color just, okay, so the color just changing. But the problem is that what I want to do, if we collide with any other color, no, which color player don't have right now at the moment, and we collide something like player has yellow color and player collide with this dark red or cyan or magenta, in that case I want a game over. Okay, instead of game over, I want to load up this scene one more time, this whole level one more time. Okay, to do so what we need, so let's open up our player script quickly by double clicking on it. Okay, let's open that up and let's go to bottom. Over here we checking, as you can see, if we collide with any other color, not the color that player have currently, as you can see, current color is not equal to other dot tag. Basically whatever game object we trigger it with, or those parts or those color parts. Okay, in that situation we just printing out game over. Instead of printing out game over, I want to reload that game scene one more time. Okay, to reload that, make sure you using unity engine dot namespace, using unity engine dot scene management name space on your script, else it will not work. You're not gonna able to use that function. Okay, make sure it, so go to top of your class and use using unity engine dot, okay, dot scene management. Okay, and let's scroll to the bottom, where we colliding with other colors. Okay, what we want to do, we want to load that this scene one more time. To load that up, we have to use scene manager. Okay, scene, sorry, scene manager dot load scene, and in brackets we have to pass the build index or the name of the scene. So how you can find that? So you have to go to unity one more time. In the top left you can see file. Okay, just click on that and then scroll to the bottom, says build setting, control shift plus b shortcut key. So click on it. As you can see over here, the name of the scene, which is sample scene, and build index you can see right in the right section, which is 0. Okay, so you can pass the name of the scene or the build index. So instead of doing like this, what we want to do, we want to load up the scene which we are currently in. So to get the scene which we are currently in, okay, we have to use this scene manager dot get active scene and make first bracket and dot build index. Okay, and close that up with semicolon. So scene manager dot load scene function over here loads up the scene we want. So we just loading up the scene which we are currently in. So scene manager dot get active scene dot build index, just referencing that's the build index of the scene we are currently in. And we know we currently in this sample scene, and the sample scene build index we seen 0. So this one over here automatically will be 0 according to which scene we are in. Okay, so it will load up the scene itself right away. Or you can pass the build index or the name of the scene in quotation. If you pass the build index, you don't need to make quotation, just pass 0 in this brackets, it will do the same thing. Okay, or if you want to pass the name of the scene, so in quotation you can name the same, name the you have to pass the name of the scene as over here like this sample scene. You have to spell it correct, and as you can see, both of this is capitalized, so you have to make it as same as it is over here. Okay, so I hope you get the idea. And control s to save your code. And now let's move to unity and see, hope to see that if we collide with any other color, this game will be reload one more time right away. But if we collide with the color that player have, then we can win the game. Okay, so just wait for to compile. And I have cup of tea right over here. I'm really sorry if it's, I apologize for that. Let's hit this play button in the top, and let's collide with any other color which should hope. Firstly, let's just try to pass through this circle. Okay, later on we will think about it. So let's pass. As you can see, if we pass same color, we are not tying. But as you seen, if we collide with other color, the game is reloading, as you can see. Okay, let's pass with any other color, we can pass it. Okay, I don't know, just let me try it one more time. uh, oh, it's pretty hard, to be honest. Okay, so I have to make the jump a little bit higher to make the game a little bit easy. Okay, something like 5.5 I will do. Let's play one more time. Just make it easy if you just trying out to make game, but if you totally comfortable, then you can go with higher value to make the game even a lot harder. Okay, I hope it's, oh no, just wait. I'm just colliding with any other color. I'm just, okay, I change it. I don't know. Okay, so what I want to do, I will select all of the small circle and will make the speed a little bit small, slow. Okay, something like 50. This will be -50. Okay, just play around with that and you're gonna get hang of it. Okay, let's do -50 as well for this one, and -50, and then this one goes 50. I will make the ball a little more smaller, you can say. So let's select this player game object, go to transform, then in scale let's put it something like 0.5 and zero point 0.5 in the y scale, in this scale, as you can see. Or what else you can do, just select this scale, this is scale tool, and you can scale it up in the x, in the y as well, but I'm not gonna do that. So let's hit this play button. I made the game a little bit easy. I should hope that it will work fine. Okay, so just wait for to compile. When it's done, let's play this. Okay, so the game is lot more easy. I don't know, once I collide with color changer. Okay, color changer, I'm just reloading the game scene one more time. That should not happen. Okay, okay, we made a mistake, I guess. Okay, so I will choose this small color changer. Okay, color changer. So if we call to call it with color changer, then we calling this set random color function. Okay, and this function just changing the color right away. But if the current color is not other tag, instead of doing this, we will check like this. Okay, sorry, other dot tag, if it's not equal to current color. Okay, current color, I hope this should work, as like we just move it this code a little bit right and left. Okay, so let's control S to save your code, and let's move to Unity. Okay, and let's see what's happening. I hope it will work fine and okay. Just play around with that and you're gonna get hang of it. Okay, so just wait and let's see one more time. We should hope that now it will not gonna happen, or we just messed up with our code. So we have cyan color, let's pass through cyan color. Oh no, just pass through. Okay, we did some mistake, I guess. We got it, the problem was that, so let's go to script one more time. Over here, as you can see, we setting a random color. Okay, and over here we checking the if our game object color is not equal to current color. Okay, but over here we change it instantly and we colliding with that a smaller circle or color changer, you can say. So that's why the current color and the color we colliding with or the color changer have, okay, or the game object, you can say. So that's why it's just reloading right away when we collide. Okay, so before we change the color and destroying the game object, what we will do, we will type return. Okay, we don't want to do this, like we're not gonna load up the game scene or the sample scene one more time. So that's why we type return. Basically after return, this line of code will not be executed. So let's do the let's do over here current color. Okay, current color, sorry, current color, if it's not equal to the color we collided or other dot tag, then we will load up the scene. But if we collide with small that color changer, we changing our player game object a random color, then we destroying it. So in that situation we don't wanna load up the scene, so that's why we type over here return. After return, we know this line of code will not get executed. So when we collide, if we don't run right over here return, so this line of code getting execute, and we know this line of code just loading our sample scene or the level scene one more time. So that's why after colliding with that color changer, we destroying that color changer and then we typing return, because we don't want to run this line of code right away, which is just loading up the game scene. Okay, sample scene one more time. So Control S to save your code, and let's move to Unity now. We should hope that it will work fine right now. It's okay. And when we collide with this color changer, we should hope we will change a different color. We will change to a different color, and then it should not load up the game scene one more time or the level we are currently in. Okay, so let's hit this play button in the top, because we type return, and we know after return whatever line of code you type, it will not be executed anymore or will not call out, it will stop right there. Okay, so let me show you how. So when I just pass through the same color, as you can see, the game is not over. And when we collide, as you seen that we're not loading up the game scene right now, it's fine. Okay, and now if I pass through the same color, we should hope that the player or the game scene will not be loaded up. Okay, and but if we collide with any other color, as you can see, the game just reloading right away. So as you can see, but when we pass through the same color, we can play our game. Okay, and we can change also the color. Let me show you. Let's pass with the same color. I made the game a little bit easy to play. You can make it harder, it's totally up to you. I don't know, Cyan. Okay, let's pass through it one more time. And okay, we change it to a different color. Over here it's pretty difficult to win, I guess. Let's hope we, okay. Okay, so you can make this game a little bit easy for players. It's totally up to you. Okay, and as you can see, if we collide with any other color, we just reloading the game scene right away. So I hope you get the idea how you can make idea how Unity scene management work, how you can reload game scene, certain game scene, and lot of things. I hope you get to learn from this tutorial. Okay, I'm really glad for you guys, you watching my videos to the end. Okay, I'm really glad for that. And lastly, thanks for watching this complete tutorial. I hope you enjoyed this one. Okay, so goodbye.